Yeah, I've talked about IMA before, International Military Antiques. I kind of like that outfit, but they are the company that I got this M3 holster from for a 1911, and what these are is reproductions. Now, that company, they carry both original stuff and reproduction stuff. A lot of the stuff gets used in World War II movies or any of the old movies. So their reproductions are really good. But like I said, they do sell original stuff, but you know, some of the original stuff is getting pretty old. This package is from them. Yeah, one of the things I like, those guys are fast. You know, I ordered this on Friday, and it's here already. You know, Monday, so over the weekend it got shipped. Now, both of these things, I could have gotten originals. Actually, yeah, see, they just do a really good job, you know, for reproductions. But like this, I could have got original, and I could have actually got it cheaper. But the originals were in pretty tough shape. You know, there was a lot of mildew and stuff on them. And honestly, I don't need an original. I need one that works. You know, because I'm using the thing. I'm not a collector. I'm a user. But what this is the action cover for a Thompson. I'll have to figure out exactly how this thing fastens on here. But it's to keep, you know, dust and dirt out of the action. Because especially, you know, the original ones of these, I ran with an open bolt. Oh yeah, that works good. So it would be constantly getting crap in them. But like I say, their reproductions are really great. You know, I like that. And not expensive. I don't remember. I think this was like 20 and this was like 30. But I like that. Now this other thing is the mag pouch for the 20 round mags. Now, you know, you can buy these, they're all over on eBay, but the ones that they sell are made in China. And this could easily be made in China too. But these are to a better level of quality than what you can buy. You know, because like I said, they're trying to get an accurate reproduction because they need to be for in movies and stuff. That's why they even, like this is dated 1943. Well, it wasn't. It was probably made a year or two ago. But they try to make them as accurate as they can. But I'm pleased with that. You know, I debated, they make them at 20 or 30, but I'm going to get some more mags, but I want to get the 20 rounders. They're just not as awkward. You know, in the gun, if you got a 30 round, they hang down quite a ways. You know, 20 is good enough. But I want to pick up some more of them. But that's why I wanted a good case to hold them. But I like that company. They serve a purpose. Now, one thing I was going to talk about, my comments, I actually thought the comments had kind of squared away. I wasn't getting the double comments anymore, you know, and I thought, okay, this is working better. And then all of a sudden, it was like day before yesterday, I got like 200 emails, you know. So they were hoarding them up again and hit me with the whole batch. And that's just, just overwhelms me. I can't do that many at one time. It's hard to, and some of them come from older videos, and it's hard to go back. I don't like going back and having to rewatch my video to try to figure out what somebody's talking about. And then sometimes it turns out that the comment that was left wasn't to me, but it was to a previous comment. And like I say, the comments are screwed up. So if there's a conversation in the comments, I can't follow it. Like if I click on earlier replies, they all go away. So anyway, one of the previous comments from a while back was about this Thompson. And it was simply, do these new reproduction type Thompsons use a Blish lock like the original ones did? Now the simple answer would have been no. But there's a lot more to it than that. It gets complicated. But I'll take this thing down. I have to make a tool to do this sometime, but it's not that awkward. Once you get started, there's a simple pin that you gotta push up to get it started. Catches again a little later on. I'm using a rusty bent nail, not the exact tool, but they're not that hard to take apart, but I should have a better tool for doing this. Because there's just a little pin in there that catches. Okay, now when he talked about the Blish lock, you see these are really pretty simple. Well, I shouldn't say simple. This whole disconnect and it gets a little complicated down there, but this top part is pretty simple. And the Blish lock was in this top part. Recoil springs, firing pin, and the bolt just comes out. Okay, that Blish lock on the originals was right here, and what it was, it's a piece of metal. There was a grooves cut in this. It was actually a two-piece bolt held together by this H-shaped piece of bronze. Now the theory was if you got bronze running against steel, under pressure they kind of stick and hesitate a minute, then when the pressure drops down, they'll slide, and that Blish lock would move up and the bolt could come back. It really never worked. When Thompson originally started, he wasn't trying to make a submachine gun, he was trying to make a full-size semi-automatic rifle. And he got tied into this Blish system. I think that Blish ended up with a stake in the company. So they were determined to use the Blish lock. Well, when they did it on these full-size rifles, they were using like a 30-06 and the 54R. I mean, they tried all kinds of different cartridges, but it never worked reliably with that Blish lock system. It was, they'd end up having to use like lubricated ammunition, and then the ejection was so violent, it was almost as dangerous to stand beside the gun as it was to be in front of the gun. They just, and then, when you imagine that, it's got to be ideal conditions for that kind of a system to work. You get a little dirt in there, it's going to screw it up. If it's oily, it's going to screw it up. Finally, one of the engineers had told him, okay, if we're going to make this system work, you're going to have to drop and go to a smaller caliber. Really what they were doing was really defeating the whole purpose of the Blish lock. But they went to a 45, they tried some other calibers there again too, but they went to a 45 because they're still trying to find something they can sell. They went to a 45 with that Blish lock in use, but then the theory was, okay, you got to run them really wet, really oily, or they'll seize up in a lock, which was defeating the purpose of the lock. But they were tied into using that locking system. And they continued to do that for quite some time, fart around with the Blish lock. Well, eventually, our military would never buy them. There's a few of them got sold here and there for this and that, but other countries bought some, and one of them was the British bought. And they found that when they got these out in the desert, because they were trying to rule the world, the dirt and dust would get in that Blish lock, and it would constantly having trouble with that. So what they started doing was taking that Blish lock out and made a metal out of scrap iron that would go in there that would hold the bolt together and give it the extra weight. And so it would just serve as a regular blowback, like what the Winchester was. So that's what they went to. When World War II started and our government started buying them, they simplified them and got rid of that whole Blish lock system. That was like in 42 or something. They just dropped it because it really served no purpose. Like I say, you kept them oiled so that it wouldn't jam. So you're just working around this thing. So they just got rid of it altogether, simplified it greatly. Got rid of, they had a weird firing pin mechanism. They just put the firing pin on the end. They just really simplified it to make them easier to produce. So that Blish lock was a nightmare from the start. Never really worked. The Thompson company struggled continuously to try to stay in business because they were tied to that Blish lock. So no, these don't have a Blish lock in them. But that went away a long time ago because it was a crazy idea that they got tied into and that they couldn't shake. So that's the answer to that question. We've got about 100 more to answer.